Hello, everyone. Welcome to Concordia University's Force-Based. Thank you for joining us for today's event, Playing with AI Ethics, Networking Directions, Ideas, and Approaches. And to help situate you, we're streaming to YouTube live from Force-Space, and we are located on unceded Indigenous lands in Tiohtià:ke, Montreal. And just so you know, here at Force-Space, we work with our university community to help mobilize knowledge, co-create daily activities, examine research questions and projects, things that are in development here at the university. We're running today's event as a live stream Zoom meeting. So if you have comments or questions in the chat, just pop them there, and we'll do our best to get to them to the people at the table. And for those of you in the space, if you have any questions, we'll try to get a microphone to you just so that everyone can hear. But with that, it's very much my pleasure just to hand it over for the rest of the event and to welcome everyone else in here to PhD candidate in communication studies, Scott DeJong. Scott, welcome back.
Am I not muted? I'm not muted now. Thanks for having me. Thanks for the introduction. Yes, my name is Scott. I'm a PhD student in communication studies here at Concordia University. My work looks at media literacy and how we can use games to kind of talk about issues like disinformation, or in this case, ethical AI use. I'm joined today by people that I will actually let introduce themselves. So I'll start here. Yeah, gotta use the mic. Good.
Thank you. Geneviève, no.
Good.
Sorry about that. Geneviève Lamarche, étudiante aussi à Concordia en arts et sciences, et ça fait 3 ans que je travaille avec Anne-Louise, Dr. Davidson, au labo d'innovation ici à Concordia. Geneviève Lamarche, student at Concordia. I've been working with Dr. Anne-Louise Davidson for 3 years in her innovation lab. Thank you.
Speaking of.
Anne-Louise Davidson, wear many hats inside the university. I'm a professor in education. I direct the innovation lab where I help students to build their confidence in innovation. Every event I do is to put the students forward. So this event is not about me. I'm very proud of the forward-thinking advances that we're making in the innovation lab and of Scott's work. The research that I am conducting presently is around ethical AI, and I'm trying to figure out how we can create a new pedagogical model to help people become aware, but also learn how to act ethically when they are faced with situations as users of AI, in this case, generative AI. So I've challenged Scott, who's a fabulous game designer, to create a social game where people can drop in. So this event is really designed as a drop-in event, and we're inviting anybody to join in and to play. If you want to comment online, we will be interacting with you online as well. There are people sitting in the audience, and that's okay too. So by all means, it's time to figure it out because we have a lot of challenges ahead. So let's do it playfully.
Yeah, and speaking of audience, we do have an audience member at the table today. If you want, you can introduce yourself, but you don't have to since you are a member from the audience. Oh, there's a button at the bottom.
Tu peux parler en français.
OK, en français, alors. Ça marche? Oui. OK, ben non, j'étais là, je passais par ici, donc j'ai été curieuse de voir. Moi, je suis PhD candidate in the Indie program. Yeah, I'm writing the thesis at the moment, and I'm really curious about all these complex questions, you know, addressing complex questions through a playful way of doing it. So that's why I'm curious to be here today. Thank you.
Thanks for being here. And then just to the others in the room, if you do want to pull your chair up and join us at the table, you're welcome to. You're also welcome to just sit back and watch. It's no pressure. It's completely up to you. It is just a game that we're going to play, and I'll start by explaining the game. So those online who are curious about this, you can kind of learn from there. But Anne-Louise kind of also went over the goals a little bit of the project, so I'm not going to reiterate that too much. But the idea of the game is that it's targeting kind of an undergrad to high school audience in the sense of, as they play it, we're supposed to wrestle with questions of what is ethical AI use, or what does it mean to ethically write a paper with ChatGPT? What are the questions that come with that? What are the concerns that come with that? And how do we navigate that? And when we talk about AI ethics, I mean, perhaps Anne-Louise, you could speak to this better than I, but there's a lot of challenges and roadblocks that people are coming across in terms of how we even define ethical AI use. And so this game is sitting primarily on how do we write and work with AI use, and not a lot of the other questions that can come up to questions of copyright and art that are, you know, connected, but a bit beyond kind of the scope of what we're going to play here today.
Yeah, if I can jump in for a second. So this is a study funded by l'Observatoire de l'intelligence artificielle et des impacts sociaux du numérique, l'OBVIA. We're really trying to figure out, like, how do we bridge these two aspects together? When we speak to engineers, they often say, you know, yeah, we need to be ethical, but it's not really our job to fix the system in terms of, you know, big companies and so on and so forth. And when we speak to people in humanities, they say, well, you know, AI is unethical and we must fix a system. The approach that we've taken is from a user-based approach. So with this study, we won't fix the system, but we'd like to understand how people reflect about ethical AI. And it's a big umbrella, but there are many, many sub-concepts. And you can be ethically in one way in terms of, you know, responsibility and trust, but you can also be unethical in another way in terms of not thinking about privacy aspects or, you know, non-maleficence and things like that. So we're trying as much as possible to bridge those two worlds. And we know one thing, and it's that in human beings, it's super difficult to bridge between, to make the bridge between what you think and what you do. So coherence in thought and action is extremely difficult, especially when we talk about complex systems. So over to you, Scott.
Yeah, so let's try to break down a complex system by just playing around for a little bit. So in front of you, I have given you 3 cards that have this like little pencil and notepad on the back, and then 2 cards that just say stories on the back. This is a game that is in development, which means that it's not officially done, but we're working on kind of tweaking it, adjusting it, and altering it. So the art isn't complete, but the ideas are all here. So the general theme or narrative, because every game has to have a story, is that we are all interns at a news company, and we're trying to produce kind of content for our bosses so that we can potentially, one of us can hopefully get hired at the end of our internship. That is done by completing these stories, which if you flip over, you'll see the kind of, there's like words on it, like there's a silly title, such as I have one here that says new exercise trend, yoga for cats. And then it has descriptions that will say like summary or image or body or like overview. And so that's what these cards will say on them. And you'll see that they're coordinated to colors, which we also have on the table here as colors. And so the idea is that like a yellow cube or a blue cube represent kind of pieces of a news story that we're putting together. So each news story has to have a title, or in some cases, let's say I have a news story here that's just supposed to be a bunch of images. And so I just need a bunch of the image cubes to complete it. And you'll see there's points at the bottom because everyone loves points and people like to win. And today we're playing a competitive version of the game. On the 16th, we're going to play it again, but we have a cooperative version of the game where we're working together. But that's for another time. So we'll save that for now. So how do I get these cubes to actually write my news story? Well, your other cards, which are the ones that have the pencil and notepad on the bottom back, will all kind of look something like these ones I have laid out on the table, which means there's a color around them, and there's 2 halves to the card. One half says work in the top corner. The other half says feed in the corner. And you're choosing between working, which is just you working. You can look at them. That's fine. Yeah. Which is just you kind of working on your own. You're like spending hours on the internet searching, or you can choose to feed our AI black box, which is this bag right here. And so if you play a card, you just tell the table that I'm going to work, and you'll read off the title of the card, and you'll do what the card says. So if it's a green card, or a blue card, or a red card, or a yellow card, and you're working, no matter what, you take that card's color. So if I play a green card, I grab a green cube. If I play a yellow card, I grab a yellow cube. Red card, red cube. Blue card, blue cube. And then I do what it says. So this one says I draw a card. So then I would draw a card as well. Does that make sense so far? We're feeling it? We're feeling it? Cool. You can also choose, instead of working, to feed the machine. And what that will typically do when you play a card to feed, instead of taking that cube for yourself, we're going to put that color, we're going to put 2 of that color and 1 black cube inside our AI algorithm here. We're going to shake it around, and then you'll do what the card says. In a lot of these cards, if you look at them here, or if you look at the ones in your hand, they say the words like pull 2 or pull 1 or pull 3, which just means you're going to go and you're going to get a prompt out of the machine, and you're going to pull that many cubes. So it says pull 2, we're going to take 2 out, and now those belong to you instead. And we'll talk about what that means and what that simulates or shows later on as we play. But the idea is if you feed the machine, cubes go in the bag, and then you're probably going to pull from the bag. If you work, the cubes are just going to go in front of you. Does that make sense so far? Okay. Are there any questions before we begin?
When we have to produce a text or an image, is it connected to a special color?
Yeah, so you'll notice that like images are always red. The body of text is always blue. And that's on the stories, which are those cards there in front of you. So you're allowed to look at them. So before we begin, I'll just let everyone know there's 2 of each color inside our machine to start. There's data already in here. And you have 3 cards in your hand and you have 2 stories in front of you. You can keep those stories face up because we're all first-time players, so we're not going to get overly competitive. Plus, I can't even read what you're saying from across the table, so you're safe from my prying eyes. And what's going to happen, we're going to take turns. We're going to go one at a time. I'll start just because I know how to play, and that way you can see what a turn looks like. And that is no way to give myself an advantage, but if I win, I'm sorry. And before we begin, please choose one of the 2 stories I gave you as the one that you want to start working on. What's your first job as an intern? What story do you want to write? You'll notice that some stories are worth more points than other stories, which typically means they're harder to complete. Choose one of them and then slide me back the other one because I'm going to put it back in the deck. Okay.
And what about the black cubes? We never.
The black cubes are going to be in the bag. They don't count as any color. And at the end of the game, they're going to count as negative points. Just so you know. Thank you. Appreciate it. It's weird having the mic on, but playing a game because it's supposed to be just like chill and casual. I need one of these. Which one do you want to write and which one do you want to give back?
I'll give this black one.
Okay.
Write this one.
What? Sorry, just you don't have to say it on the mic, but like, what are your names? Just so I'm not as in person. Sorry. Sad. Nice to meet you. And nice to meet you. Pleasure. Looking forward to playing a game with you all. Okay. So it's my turn first. So what I can do is I look at the cards in my hand. I'm going to be very prescriptive just because we're all learning here today. I'm going to choose one and I'm going to tell you if I'm working or if I'm feeding. And I'm going to choose just for fun, I'm going to work. And this card says get on it, which means I'm going to get on my job. And because I'm working, I grab the color of the card and then I do what the text box says. In this case, it says nothing. So I probably shouldn't have played this card, but I already did it. That's that. Then I draw a card for my turn and I pass to the person to my left.
So I'm going to work and I will dig into the data.
So first you get a cube for your card's color.
Yes.
And then you get to.
Why do I have a black
This
one?
is supposed to be here.
Yeah, cheating.
I am trying to, I'm just trying to slide you negative points. And then you will.
And then I'll draw a card.
Fantastic.
Any color, yeah.
So this goes back.
You choose one card. You're probably trying to choose colors that match the story you're producing, right? So the story in front of you will tell you what colors you're probably looking for. So I'm looking for blue and red. You're looking for green, blue, and yellow.
But I mean, I choose to work on this other story.
This is the story you're working on. Exactly. So that kind of makes it. It takes a little bit, but once you're there with me. And that's what we like to hear. Oh, and sorry, when a card's played, we'll put it in a discard pile. Yeah, just so.
I was
No, of course. And then did you draw at the end of your turn in, Louise? You
Yes.
should have 4 because you drew from the card,
I gave
then-
one.
which let you draw.
Oh,
You get
I
another
forgot
one.
to draw. Thank
Got
you.
No. Please take your time. I see that some people have their turns ready, but that's like, they're probably professional gamers. Yes.
I forgot, how do we know how many cubes should we take out of the bag?
The card itself will say, so sometimes you don't even take the cube out of the bag sometimes when you feed it. If it says pull, which a good amount of them do, then you're going to pull equal to the number, which is typically pull 2, sometimes it's pull 3.
So
Yes.
I work, you and another player gain an additional cube
Okay.
of this card color.
So you choose someone else here, and you're going to get another blue cube, and they're going to get a blue cube. So who do you want to work with? Okay, wow, that's friendship right
Okay,
there.
yeah.
There you go. And so now you have these 2 cubes, and you've gotten a free cube from your intern friend. That card we'll put in the discard pile here. So you can just put it here because you've used it, and you'll draw a new card. And then it's your turn.
So you can choose any.
You can choose
regarding
any
the
card in your hand.
story.
I mean, you don't have to do the story if you don't want to. It's your choice. That's how you get points. So,
So I choose green.
okay.
And I choose to feed.
Okay, so first thing that's gonna happen is we're gonna put 2 green cubes and 1 black cube inside the bag. Okay, then what happens?
And it says return a cube from your board to the bag and pull 2.
Okay, so that blue cube goes in the bag.
And I-
Give the bag a shake. Mix it all up. Choose 2 cubes from the bag. Don't look at them though. So, we gotta treat the black box like what it is. And those are now yours.
So these are-
Yes. Okay.
So now you have a black
Yes.
So
And
that's a
that's a
negative.
negative.
But that card that you just played, where you get to return a cube to the bag, if you have another one, you could put the black cube back in the bag.
If I have another green card.
No, because the card you played, it said like return a cube from in front of you into the bag. So if you want to get rid of that black cube and you have more cards that get rid of cubes, those are ways to do it. Make sense? Kind of, maybe? Yeah, a little bit. Did you draw at the end of your turn? There you go. Yeah.
Can you explain the negative? It means like there is no information, you know, what is it?
Like, what does this mean?
Yeah.
So if we're doing more of like an understanding what the game's talking about, this would be like when you put a prompt into an AI and you get like a bad result, or you get a result that doesn't help you, right? And so at the end of the game, these are worth negative points because they actively deterred from your ability to complete the story. There's also discussion about having endgame scenarios where depending on how many you have, it shows that like people are also getting aware that your AI is like really poor. Because if you have AI write your stories for you, you can notice sometimes when an AI has written a story. And so if you have enough of that, public perception of your stories isn't good. So you're going to lose points and not get hired. Does that make sense? Okay. Hi.
So this is just as a parenthesis, when you play with generative AI or any kind of AI, it's possible that you will get some very positive outputs, but you can also get adverse effects. So when you put things and you feed the AI, you can potentially just pick up all adverse effects, all positive, or a mix of both.
To give an example, right, you played a green card, right, which means that you were looking for that type of text output, right? And you got some of that response in your cube there, but you also got something
Negative.
that you didn't really want, right? And so that's, you could have potentially pulled 2 green cubes because you put 2 in here as well to help you, but you didn't in that case. Thanks. We've made you wait long enough to start your turn.
So I decided to walk.
Okay.
So I'm gonna win like a red cube and share another cube with someone else. So I can see.
So here's your red cube, and then you get another red cube, and then you're giving Jen the other red cube as well. Because whenever you play a card, no matter what, if you're working, you get that card's color, and then that card in addition gives you another cube.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, and then draw one more at the end of your turn. So you always have 3. You should always have 3 cards in hand by the end of your turn, sometimes more.
But
Yes.
then the party is over, this turn is over when I get the 1, 1, 1. When I get
That's
the
when you
points.
finish your story, then you'll get 2 points and you'll get some more work to do. The game will end, for the record, when we run out of either stories to do or we run out of cards to pull. Make sense? Cool. Yes.
What happened with the colored cubes?
They stay in front of you until you complete your stories. And then you can cash them back in to finish your story. Cool? Yes. Thanks for the question.
I am going to feed the AI and it says ask to brainstorm,
Oh,
but now it's pull 3.
so she's playing a red card. So we're gonna put 2 red cubes and a black cube in the bag. You're gonna shake it up and you're gonna pull 3 cubes from the bag. I don't even know what is in my hand.
Now the hallucinations.
Okay.
Can I?
Yes, and you can draw a new card. So I hadn't even looked at my hand yet. Okay, it's my turn. I'm going to feed the machine as well. I'm going to ask the AI some questions. So I'm going to put 2 yellow and 2 black in the bag. I'm going to shake it around because I'm going to pull 2 cubes from the bag, hoping to get what I need. I'm halfway content with that. And this card also lets me draw 2 cards. So I'm going to draw 2. I'm going to discard it. And at the end of my turn, I'm going to draw 1 more. Then I'm going to pass to Annalise.
Okay, so I'm going to work on repetitive data. I will add an additional black cube to the bag,
Okay, so you're adding 2 black cubes to this bag instead of 2.
and then I'll draw 1 from the discard. Pull 2, sorry, pull 2 from the bag. Okay, so I'll just shake this properly. And oh, you see, I got an adverse effect here.
Ooh.
And I will draw 1 from the discard pile.
So you can choose any card in here.
Fantastic. And I get a yellow one, right?
No, because you fed the
Oh, I fed-
machine.
oh,
And then at the end of your turn, just for timing, I'll just give you this card that you'll draw normally.
thank you. Perfect.
And then we'll go to you.
Okay, so I walk like.
Fantastic. Who does that?
So I get some green, 1 for me, 1 from someone else.
Okay.
One per game.
So you get another one, and then who else gets 1 more?
No, you and another player. So 1 for me and 1 for my.
Yeah, so but when you play the card, no matter what, if you work, you get a cube, no matter what. So no matter what, by working, you got a green cube.
Yeah.
And then you read the text. And the text says you get another one.
Oh,
And you give one to someone else. Okay, so who would you like to be friends to? I see that the audience is, they're teaming up, it seems.
That's wonderful.
Yeah, they're all.
We're jamming.
Yeah, fantastic. And then just make sure you draw.
Yeah.
Here you go.
But,
Yes.
you know, I really have to have one of them.
Yeah, you have some
Really,
extra
I
cubes
have
right now. Yeah, you have some,
to
you
take that.
can well, you can hang on to them because you might get more stories that they're useful for.
Yeah.
But for right now, you only need one of each. You're looking for a yellow cube from what I'm seeing.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, fantastic.
Question about
Yes.
disclosing the AI use. It says,
Mhm.
if I choose this card, it says give a player one of your cubes.
Yeah, so you can give that black cube to whoever you want.
to whoever. Okay.
I've always been your friend. I'm just saying that now. I've always been your friend.
I started to show you that.
Yeah, she did give you something. Yeah.
I choose give this to you.
Of course, unexpected. I'll take it. I see the tables teaming up against me. So was that the top part? So you do still get a green cube. Yeah. Okay, and then you drew up, and we can just discard our cards in the deck here. I know the reaching is a bit tight for some people. Yeah, I will go back in my pile. Fantastic. Okay, up next.
So I decided to check my sources.
Nice.
To work. And I can draw any card from the discard pile.
Okay. So you can choose any card from here. Can you put that card down so we can all see it? Fabulous. So you also get a blue cube.
Thank you.
Um,
And so I take the one I want. That's it.
yeah, exactly.
Okay.
And then that's what you're doing this turn instead of drawing from the main deck. Like instead of, because at the end of your turn, you typically draw from here. This turn, you're drawing from here. Cool. Good?
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Hi,
Hi.
it's your turn.
I'm going to show a bit of transparency.
Okay, so you're working.
And I'm returning my black cube to the bag.
Put it right in there. Mhm.
So this is yours,
What? Okay. Yeah.
and I'd like to.
Yes. Here you go. Is your story getting close? Oh, you got a big story there. It's an 8-point story. I got my 2-point story here. I have not been trying to do my story properly. Okay, I'm going to do my story this time. I realized that I was grabbing the wrong colors before. I'm going to work like all of us wonderful people here. I'm going to take a red cube because I'm working. I'm going to disclose my own AI use, and I'm going to give a black cube to a player at the table because someone gave one to me. And I'm going to put that there, and I'm going to draw, and I'm going to.
Good job.
Thank you.
So I will disclose AI use. It's
We're all
really
doing it.
important. I will give a player one of my cubes.
Unexpected.
And I will discard and draw a card. This one?
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, so I'm gonna work. This turn, you can draw any card from the discard pile.
Yeah, so instead of drawing from here at the end of your turn, you'll draw from here.
But I choose or any.
Yeah, you can choose any card from this pile.
But, so I'm.
Is there a card that like a certain color you might need or a certain, yeah. Okay,
But it's the same.
as long as you're happy with it,
Okay.
that's all that matters.
But
Yeah, and then you got that no matter what this turn. So I think you're the first person to finish a story.
yes,
Bravo.
We get to see what happens. So when you finish a story, we need you to give away the cubes so you're going to publish the story. So those cubes that go into making the story come back. They're going to go into the bag. And that is now your 2 points. So you can just flip it back over in front of you. So now that no one can stop you from taking it. You can choose one of these as your next story to work on. Okay?
and then the 2 points, what is it?
At the end of the game, we'll just calculate all the points together.
Okay,
So you
so
have
it-
2 points. You've earned them. You're in the lead, which is why people should stop giving me black cubes. And while you're choosing, you're welcome to start yours.
And she's the only one who hasn't used AI, but she was the first one who finished. She worked hard,
Yes,
by the way.
It's impressive.
Hmm,
Yeah.
yeah, because.
Good
you know,
observation.
Very interesting
it's like
conclusion.
I'm warming, writing the thesis.
Yeah.
And you know what? This is consistent with the challenge we led yesterday because we spent a lot of time reflecting about how to be ethical with AI as you work with generative AI to produce an op-ed. And it ended up being much more complicated than just either writing or just letting the AI write for you.
Hmm.
So,
Okay, so congratulations on the first to achieve points in the game. And I look forward to trying to beat you. Go ahead.
I have a question.
Yeah.
So in the end, the more stories you've completed, the more points you have, that's how you win.
Not necessarily, because her story is worth 8 points.
Okay.
And this story is only worth 3 points, and her story was only worth 2. And so she's going to put more work into finishing her story. But if she gets it done before we run out of cards, she has the same value as us finishing like 3 of our stories. She's got like the big news story. It's huge, huge news right there.
But she's done
Oh,
before.
we forgot one very important rule. When you finish a story, you have to read the title out for everyone to hear what story you finished. So,
Okay.
so flip it back over. Let us know what story you've written for
Okay.
everyone.
Global cookies shortage sparks cookie monster protests.
Fantastic. This is a
Global
pivotal
cookie
story.
Shortage.
Yeah.
Sparks cookie
Monster protest. I think that's a logical conclusion.
Fantastic. Yes.
Okay, sorry, now it is your turn.
So I'll start to feed the AI,
Okay.
draw 2 cards and pull 2.
Okay, so first we'll be putting 3 into the back. Then you get the joy of shaking and gathering your
Pull 2,
cubes. Yep, pull 2, and then you get to draw 2. So you'll have a hand very full of cards for your next turn. Ooh,
and I take 2.
and then you'll also get one
Okay.
at the end of your turn. Yeah, so you got a full hand moving forward. There is a hand size maximum of 5. So if you ever have more than 5, you discard
That's
down. Yeah, but you should be okay.
So I decided to walk again.
Fantastic.
I'm gonna dig into the data
Mhm.
so I can draw 1 card.
Fantastic. There you go. Here's a card that you drew. And here's a card that you get at the end of your turn.
Okay.
And are you close to finishing a story? I can't tell how close your story is to being done. Okay. Don't give me specifics. I see it. Hiding. Okay, go. You're up, Jen.
Okay, I am going to dig into the data. I'm working hard. So I need to
Fantastic.
draw a card and a cube, please. Thank you.
We're running low on cards. This is one of the things we're still seeing because I typically design this for 4. We have a larger group today, so we might shuffle these back in and keep going depending on how it's looking point wise. Okay, it's my turn. Again, I haven't looked at my hand because I've been making sure everyone's been giving me things of black cubes in nature. Okay, so and because of that, I'm going to feed the black box. I'm going to return a cube from my board to the bag. I will then also be adding 2 blue and another black to pull 2 from the bag. Let's just hope we don't get 2 black in response. I'm gonna really shake it. I don't trust it. I don't trust it at all. Unbelievably awful. Okay. Worst prompt response I've gotten in a long time. Okay, go ahead. Oh, I draw at the end.
So draw your card. All right. So I'm going to get on it. And I'm gonna get a yellow, sorry.
So that's the yellow.
And then I'm gonna complete a story.
What story have you
And the
completed?
story I've completed is a son takes day off, global confusion ensues.
Okay, well-written story, I can see.
Yes.
So you'll get to choose out of these 2 your next story to work on.
All right, so I'll check which story. Woo. Well, that's my favorite one.
Okay,
Okay.
Okay, my turn.
it is your turn.
And
So I'm
I
gonna
forgot to
walk.
pick a, did I
Can
pick a
get
card?
the red one?
We have 4 in here.
Should I pick this one? Do I?
I don't, did you?
Yeah.
Oh,
No, I did not.
okay.
Yeah, there we go.
Hi, sorry.
Yeah, I'm
Thank you.
gonna walk. So I
Fantastic.
get the cube, and then I'm gonna give a player 1 of my cube, and I'm gonna give this one to you.
I would have
Okay.
appreciated it, but that's fine. I'll remember this. Okay. Fabulous. You got your red cube? Yeah, you did. Okay,
Yes.
wonderful. Okay.
But then I get.
You draw. I was like, there was one more step that we're forgetting. Yes, always draw at the end of it. Go ahead.
I'm choosing to work. This
Fantastic.
turn you can draw any card from the discard pile.
Make your choice. And then put that card in the discard pile when you're done. Oh, this is your done story, correct?
Fun story, yes.
Let's go in the back.
Goes in. I didn't want to interrupt.
No. And the reason we put our cubes in the bag when we finish a story is to kind of reference the fact that AI also builds it once out there. So once you produce the story, it also feeds it into the further prompts you can get. So just as a learning piece, if you're ever facilitating this game with students, that's another piece you can talk about. Is your,
So I have a
yes.
maximum of 5 cards, so I'm not allowed to take a card, right?
You can, and then just discard down to 5. So there's a card in your hand that you're never going to use. So like you can take this card, because like I would love that because I'm looking for a red cube and I don't have a red card in my hand.
And I take another one. So because I have 6 cards.
Yeah, so you're going to put just 1 back in the discard pile. Exactly. Fabulous. Okay, sorry. It's your turn.
So I'm gonna walk on disclose AI.
Fantastic. I think that's the one where you give away cubes.
So I'm gonna give you.
Oh, you're my new favorite person at the table. Fantastic.
So I.
And you also get a yellow cube.
Thank you.
You're very
So
welcome.
now I've finished my.
Fantastic. What is the story? You must read it out for us.
So it's a story about a snail racing championship ends into a photo finish.
Oh, must have been a close one.
Okay.
Gonna have to put that in my saved to read file. We can take a card, and then I'll give you this card. And then you finish the story, so you get to choose a new story.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you. Merci. Okay, Jen, you're back up.
Yeah, I'm going to work and I'm going to check my sources. And so this turn, I'm going to draw a card from the discard pile because I need yellow. So
Okay. Here you go. Take your pick. Fabulous. You're still not there yet. Eh?
almost.
Oh no.
So it goes back here,
Yes.
all good.
So
Okay.
at the start of my turn, I can finish the story because someone at the table was so kind and gave me the cube that I needed. So my completed story goes in the bag. Also, did you put your cubes for your story in the bag? Because you finished the story, right?
No.
Just make sure you put them in the bag. So I'm going to put those in the bag.
So this is important because what just happened here is like a collaboration.
Yes.
And we're playing the competitive version, which is not as pleasant as the collaborative version, because collaboratively, we would want to complete as many stories as possible.
Yes.
But competitively, we should try to prevent people.
Yeah, you're trying to, it depends on if you're trying to slow down your fellow interns or work with them. And you can choose here, like we're clearly working together now. I'm not going to give her a single bad cube for the rest of the game. I might be giving him bad cubes for the rest of the game and you bad cubes for the rest of the game.
Well,
But-
yeah, so you have alliances.
Yeah, oh, I have a partnership now. We're teammates, even though it's not official. Sorry, I have to choose a new story. I will choose this one. And then I'll actually start my turn because this happened between rounds. Okay. So I need, fantastic. I'm going to work. I'm going to disclose my AI use. I'm going to get a blue cube and I'm going to give a player one of my cubes. I'm going to put this in the pile. And because I've been working so efficiently, I finished another story.
Oh, wow. And where the story?
Oh, yeah, sorry. Oh my gosh, I had two stories that I finished. I don't know why this is that my story? That's my story.
That is
So
your story.
the two stories I finished this turn are, one is there's a new exercise trend that I reported on. It's called yoga for cats. And the other one is that competitive napping has been added to the Olympic Games. And I wrote about that and I got published now. So
That's your card.
at the end of my turn, I draw up and I've also finished another story. So I will be choosing a new one, but you can go, Anna Louise, as I do so.
I have a lot of repetitive data. So I will add one additional black cube to the bag, pull two, and draw one card from the discard pile.
Okay, so that's a feed action. So, yeah, and we add an additional black cube.
An additional black cube.
I wish you the best in pulling from the AI,
Thank you.
but actually, I hope that you pull only black cubes.
I'm a responsible citizen. So hopefully.
Hopefully, fingers crossed.
Ah,
Oh,
You got a yellow cube.
horrible, horrible. Yeah, okay. All good. So this is going here, and then I'm drawing one from this discard pile.
Fabulous. And you'll also get one per turn, so I'll just put that in front of you.
And I have too many cards, so I'll have to discard.
Yes. While she's doing that, you're welcome to go, because I don't
Yeah.
think it will.
But I will need this pile too because I'm walking
Mm-hmm.
and at some point get a yellow. And then I return the card. You can draw any card.
So you can choose any card from here this turn. So one of the key design points of this game is that every turn you're in this tension between choosing to just slowly work your own way through your pieces or feeding the machine to try to get stuff quickly. And so as a conversation piece, right, it's meant to reflect kind of can we try to have AI get this done quick and dirty for us, or can we just grind our way through what's happening here? And as we've seen, you've only worked the entire game. Is this correct? You have never.
Yeah.
This is, I mean, I use chatbot.
Yeah, and there are a little bit more nuances, right? Because you can get a lot of good stuff from AI.
Yeah, no, exactly. And sometimes you need to. Like I've had to feed the machine to be able to get rid of cubes or try to get colors that aren't in my hand because I just can't think of how to write it a certain way, or I don't know what direction to go in, right?
Yeah, you can brainstorm with it.
Yeah, brainstorming is one of the best AI cards early and one of the worst ones late in this
Yes,
game. Because you'll notice that everything we do fills the bag. So if everyone's putting like green cards as their feed cards into the bag gets very full of green cubes very quickly. It's like what we input into the system also dictates what we get out of the system. Anyways, please continue.
Like choosing to work, disclose AI use,
Okay.
get one of the cubes.
I wonder who that's gonna be. Oh, we're building a friendship again.
I don't think so.
Wonderful. Did you get your yellow cube? Sorry, here you go.
Thank you.
Of course. Okay.
So I'm gonna try the AI. So I'm gonna ask to brainstorm. So I have to pull 3.
So first we're gonna put 2 blue and 1 black into the bag. And then you get to give it a big shake. And I encourage shaking it a lot because I think it gives a higher chance of success. There's no proof of this data though. And then pull 3.
Oh.
Oh, that's pretty good. That's
Good,
it's
yeah.
impressive. We'll
That's-
applaud the
That was a
machine.
good shake. Yeah. Notice you
Thank
close
you.
your eyes too.
That's it. There's a talent to it. You got to trust in the machine.
Yeah,
if you want
I
it
think
to
you
do.
need to close your eyes.
And then here we're gonna have you draw at the end of your turn,
Thank you.
which does have us out of cards. So we technically would end the game after your turn. But I feel like people want to keep playing, and we have a few more people than I had initially printed cards for. So I'm gonna keep a few out for those cards. Let us choose from the discard pile, and I will shuffle the rest in. You can go.
I am stuck with writer's block,
Mm.
so I'm going to
Uh-oh.
ask the AI to brainstorm a bit.
Ooh. So
I have a tough.
2 and 1 in the bag. Give it a big shake. We've learned to close our eyes now is the best way to do this.
So, 3, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
wanted
everyone's
yellow.
get- I'm gonna do a pull this turn, and I'm gonna just get black cubes. I can tell you right now, it's gonna happen. Well, actually, what do I need? Okay.
So, I need a card.
Oh, sorry. Of course. Of course.
Is it yellow?
Everyone's brainstorming. I'm gonna brainstorm. I'm going to give it 2 cubes. I'm gonna give it a black cube, and I'm going to hope that I get anything but black.
And the reason
I
why
will
you
take this.
designed this as you put 2 of the color, is it because you generally want to purposefully put more good than
Yeah.
bad?
It's the idea that like in general, AI is going to build off of what you're putting in, right? So if you're like, I'm putting in a prompt because I'm trying to look for X subject, it's going to feed you things around that. It just might not be perfect for what you're getting, right? And so if you need like green cards and you're putting 2 in the bag too, you're increasing your odds of potentially pulling the color that you're looking for every time.
Yeah.
But there's also always a chance that you're gonna get it wrong, or it's gonna be misdirected in how it's actually contextualizing or understanding what you're asking from your prompt and things like that. So there's always a chance it could go the wrong way.
Yeah.
And then as the game goes on, more and more of these cubes end up in the bag because there's a lot of cards like return cubes, but there's one that's like return black cubes to the bag. So you almost always end up with more and more black cubes in the bag as the game goes on. And there's a conversation that we see coming out around AI is like the longer or more people use it, will prompts and responses become actually more kind of the same because the data kind of becomes cyclic in the sense of it sees what it puts out and it keeps feeding itself back to itself. That's obviously a question for like long term. We don't know if that's the case with AI and what's going to actually happen, but that's one of the concerns we see. And it's one of the concerns that can come up in the game when we talk about this black box right here or black bag. Anyways, it is your turn.
So I'll dig into the data.
Okay. Here's your yellow card.
Thank you.
You draw a card. You draw
Okay.
another card.
I'll have to put 1 back in.
Okay.
Oh,
You're
it's
up,
my
yes.
So I'm gonna walk again.
Okay.
And get a red. And also you'll get a red too.
Oh, thank you. Well, you get 2 red actually. And then I get red. Oh, and everyone's helping me finish my stories.
So I finished my story.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
So let's feed your story to the machine. Fantastic. What's the story? Please announce it to the world.
Snowman convention protests again. Summer heat. Yeah, it's too hot, so they're melting.
I love the extra context. It's fantastic. Also, both your stories are on protest, are they not? Because you're the cookie protest, and you're clearly an intern that's doing all the activist-based stories at the
Because
company.
job.
Yeah, clearly.
Yeah,
I
you
mean,
are.
yeah, you are working hard. Fantastic. Go ahead.
Brainstorm.
Oh, sorry, yes. Thank you.
I'm taking two.
Yeah, two and choose one. Sorry, thank you.
Just to brainstorm.
Yes.
Pull two.
Okay, and it's a red card?
Red.
Sorry, I'll even let you fill it for yourself. There you go. I wish you the best in polling now that we're friends.
And technique you learned is close your eyes.
It is the technique at the table. It seems to work. You've established this. I'm gonna put it in the rule book for.
It works. It works.
See, it's the way to. Have you finished the story?
Yeah, actually, it's two greens and two reds. Yeah.
Fantastic. Were you like? Is the reason that you brainstormed because you were trying to get a red cube?
That's right.
Yeah. Okay.
So my story was business tycoons host charity pie eating contest.
Fantastic. Wow. Okay, so you keep that just so we can track it at the end of the game. Choose a new one and then
Put these ones
yes, in the bag. Yeah. Let's keep feeding our algorithm. Could potentially go wrong. Okay.
So because I saw that lots of people around me did put lots of data into the AI. So I think it's quite ready for me.
Okay.
So I choose to feed with repetitive data.
Mm-hmm.
And so I have to add one additional black cubes into the bag and pull two. And I also can draw one card from the discard card.
Yes. So, and it's red. Okay. So you're gonna add all of these to the bag. And then I'll give you this to choose from after you do your pull. So put it in the bag, give it a big shake, do your secret technique.
Eyes closed, notice. Certain amount of seconds.
Oh,
Go.
oh no. Okay.
You can't put them back. Oh, you pulled three. Is that why? I thought you were like, this is bad. I'm putting them back. I thought you were just like, no, I don't want these. Like,
I pulled three.
yeah, no, that's fine.
Okay.
We trust you. I have friends that would play a game like that. And I'm also just like, come on, we gotta.
It's two.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
No,
Okay.
it's okay. So it's one, you know, and then you can choose one card from here.
Thank you.
Of course, and then you also just get a free card at the end of your turn, as per usual.
Well, you have always.
Yeah, I think you forgot to draw last turn.
Ah,
I
okay.
think I also forgot to go.
Please fill your hands with cards.
Okay.
Give yourself more options. Yes.
So I am also I'm gonna ask the AI because I'm stuck. So
Okay.
draw two cards and pull two.
Okay, so first,
Beat the AI. Thank you.
best of luck. You're getting close.
No, I just need to.
Yeah.
It was a big story. You're gonna win this.
If she gets, I mean, I now have two stories done with a third on, like this is about to be done. Did
What
you
do
put in a
have?
prompt and not get what you wanted?
Oh, you have
I
to.
did not get what
Yeah,
I wanted.
Yeah,
You want
okay.
a yellow.
I
I've
only
been
completed
given
one.
2 free cubes that fit perfectly with my stories. So you're good?
Yep, but I need to draw two cards. Thank you.
And you get one for the end of your turn.
Still didn't get yellow.
If it makes you feel better, I have a bunch of yellow in my hand. I don't think that's meant to make you feel better. Okay, at the start of my turn, because you gave me a cube, I have another story done. So these go back in the bag. And I can now tell you that I all wrote the story. It says chocolate declared essential vegetable by a local scientist. Probably fake news. We're not sure. As someone who studies disinfo, I would say probably, but I don't know.
Well, we should invite people to eat the brownies because we have.
Oh
some-
yes, we have. Yeah. Oh,
We have some-
Kristen,
we
can
have
you
brownies
be
and we
amazing
have
and bring
coffee.
brownies over? Yeah.
Let's test this theory, you know?
Yeah.
We also have coffee, so.
Chocolate is a fruit.
Chocolate is a
It's the
fruit.
fruit, of course.
Yes, it is healthy. I
But it's
personally
the
believe.
seed.
Yeah, I agree with you. Okay, sorry, my turn
Thank
itself.
you.
I'm going to feed the black box. I'm going to return a cube from my board to the bag, which is a black cube, and then I'm going to add two, grab one, shake it all around, close my eyes because we learned this technique, grab two. I'm okay with this. I'm okay with this. And pass to you as I draw. Yeah, my turn.
So I have an invitation for people who are watching us and they're somewhere in the offices around. If you want
Thank you,
brownies and
Kristen.
coffee, we have some good stuff. It all comes from the Hive. So it's a student co-op and
Yeah.
you will appreciate
Please,
it.
please eat them.
So please.
I'll be
please
the
come
first
around.
to take one so you don't feel, you know.
All right, so I'm gonna get on it
Mm-hmm.
and I'm gonna get a blue
Mm-hmm.
and then I'm gonna complete a story and then I'm gonna draw
Mm-hmm.
a card.
Fantastic.
All right.
What story have you completed?
So imagine why owls should run for office. Isn't that just perfect?
It's a fantastic story. I'm a big fan of
I spent
owls.
all of my time taking pictures of owls on the weekend, and now I am writing stories about owls. This is a perfect life.
Pretty good. I mean, I've seen Winnie the Pooh. The owl's pretty wise.
Yeah,
Like-
I'm gonna get a coffee.
Okay, so I'm gonna feed because it's a new story and I
Mhm.
need the ideas, so I'm gonna brainstorm.
Okay, fantastic. So you're first time
Yes.
with the AI.
First time.
So first we're gonna add these to the back. Wait, first, wait. These go in the back. Ah! Ah, go. Let's believe,
Oh, not bad.
not too bad, not too bad. I like how the response on the table is like, as long as there's something that's usable, we're like, this is okay. We're accepting the spade.
But it's not a good way to think, because we also have false information. Yeah.
No, it's exactly right. And it's like, we're kind of getting our response, but we're getting mixed messages with it. Like if you've ever put a prompt into ChatGPT for like sources, and you try to follow up on those sources, almost all of them don't exist in real life, right? Where it's like, yeah, like the citations that it will give you, it will also sometimes, like I've had it tell me that like this author exists and wrote this book. The book is written by someone completely different, or the author wrote something completely different. Like what it actually provides sometimes is like, it can help you on the track. So like, I'm now aware that this book exists, but it's by a different author, but like it was misleading because made me think that it was something else completely, right? Which again is kind of modeled in this like, we got something related, but it's not fully there. Sorry, that was your turn.
Get on.
Yeah. So you're gonna work?
Get on it.
You go.
It's like,
Just get on the job. Yeah, this is the simplest card. You just get a cube. Nothing bad can possibly happen. You just get the color you want. Go ahead.
So now that I use the lots of IA, I'm gonna work on my transparency.
I love that. Way to be
So
ethical.
I have to show my hands to everyone to return a black cube to the back. So I don't know if this would work. How do I show my hands?
So it'd be like the colors of cards in your hands. So if we were being super competitive, we might care if like you don't have, because like I know that Jen's looking for yellow and we're like, oh, she doesn't have yellow in her hand. That's good to know, right? You have a lot of yellow. I also have like 3 yellows. And then you get to return a cube to the back. And then that card itself, what color was?
Yellow.
Okay, so I'll trade you. Would you like a brownie?
Sure.
Well, can you pass me
I'll
now?
like those. Thank you.
Okay, Jen, you're up. We are almost out of stories, everyone.
Repetitive data, add 1 additional black cube to the bag. I am going to pull 2 and draw 1 from the discard pile. Thanks for that yellow.
I wish you the best.
I'm going to grab that yellow.
Makes sense.
Okay.
Okay. Maybe you'll get a yellow cube from the bag too. Maybe we'll get 2 yellow cubes. Wouldn't that be exciting? You have so many extra story bits. You're just like, you have like 2 stories just in the works on the side.
She's got a lot on the go.
No,
I still did not get my.
next
camera.
turn, next turn.
But you have a lot of work saved for if you ever get another story. Maybe it's a good idea to not take the most expensive story to start.
I'm playing the long game.
You are playing the long game, and I applaud that. Is my turn. Also,
We didn't
yes.
know at first, we didn't know the points.
No, I mean, they are on the bottom of
No,
the card.
You didn't mention, so we didn't look.
Mm.
So I didn't know the first one was 2 for me, for example.
Well, you're on
Now
a
I choose the challenging
6
one.
quarter.
Six.
Yeah, you could get there. I believe in you. Also, everyone, this is Kristen. Kristen has joined us.
Nice to
real quick.
meet you. Yeah.
Kristen is, do you want to introduce yourself very briefly? So everyone
Sure.
knows you. Well, I also decide what I'm going to do this term.
Sure. So I'm a master's student at the Department of Education, and Dr. Anne-Louise Davidson is my supervisor.
Okay.
So I'm also a research assistant on this team. So I've played Scott's game a couple times before.
Okay.
Played earlier versions.
Yes. Yeah. I'm a little rusty though.
Yeah, we would call this game like a beta if we're using game language of like almost ready to go, but it needs a little bit of work. Like one of the things that we're probably going to change is instead of them being colors, they would be colors and symbols. So that for people who are colorblind, but also to kind of make the connection between this just being a color to like actually being part of a story. Anyways, it's my turn. I'm going to check my sources because I'm so diligent. I get a yellow cube and I can draw a card from the discard pile this turn. you can go while I do that.
Okay, I was not left with very good prospects. These are her completed stories, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
You have some, yeah.
Okay. And
I
these
feel
are
like
the-
Anne Louise has helped us model the idea of, you know, doing something and then handing it off to someone else to do. Nevertheless, it's your turn.
Okay, so I can pick a new story, right?
Yeah, if you,
'Cause I don't have.
you don't
one
have
in
a
my
story at all?
hand. No, I don't.
Oh,
Or maybe.
yeah, so choose one of these.
Okay,
You just choose one.
this is simpler. I'm learning.
There's only one story left to do for our internship.
Oh. Okay. Those. Okay, I'm going to play the green card. So.
Are you feeding the
uh,
machine or are you working?
I am going to. I'm gonna work.
You're gonna work?
I'm gonna decide to work.
Alright. Such a diligent student. You get to draw a card. You get to draw another card at the end of your turn.
Okay.
Love that for you.
Okay, so I'm gonna read. I'm gonna use the black box.
Nice.
I written one black
Nice.
and put two.
So I put the regular one. Well, you can put that in there for me. Give it a big shake. Remember, close your eyes. It's the technique.
That's what it was.
It's official technique now. I mean, that's why we play these games, you know, to learn how to do it. Oh, I like the twirl. Okay. Were you looking for a red cube? That's helpful.
No, so useless, but I mean, it's fun.
We're all friends here, you know.
Disclose AI use, I choose to work.
Okay.
Clear one of the cubes.
Oh.
I get to give the yellow one.
Oh, wow, he's become such a nice player in time. Wow. I'm not gonna lie, the first time I played this game, I was mean to everyone. So like, nothing wrong with giving all the black cubes away. It's totally how to play this game. Did you draw at the end of your turn? Did you draw at the end of your turn? Yes, you did.
Yes, I did.
Yes. So we will be ending the game very soon because both these stacks are almost empty. But
Okay.
Uh-oh.
I'm just gonna feed the data and ask the AI.
yeah.
So I have to pull two.
Yes, can I ask why you seem so like reticent or like not wanting to play that card? You're like, you don't seem like excited to do this. You seem nervous.
Just because it's the end of the.
Okay. You're sad for the end of the game. I'll take that as a selling feature. You'll never want to stop.
Okay.
Was it good? Alright.
Well, kind of.
You get to draw two,
Yeah.
so that's fine. And once again, we'll go for the end of the story deck today, since we're so close. And I really want Jen to finish her story. She's been working really hard.
Decided to work it. So because I'm getting on it, I'm gonna finally finish my story. Thank you very much for your help.
Congratulations.
Input was invaluable.
What story have you been working on for so long?
Mayor's News. Mayor's News, new pet, City Hall goldfish.
Oh, wow.
And I'm gonna feed all
Quite
of
a simple story for how long that took you. I'm not gonna lie. He's just got a new goldfish, no? Is there more drama? Is there more drama to that narrative?
May I have the last story, please?
Of course, yes. So why don't we do one more round, just because I feel like some people are close to finishing the things they're working on, plus Kristen just join us, and then we can pause and we can talk about the game, and if we want to play again, we're happy to do so. But I don't want to also keep people here. It's meant to be kind of a chill drop-in. And we can also just talk about how you guys are thinking about ethical AI use, because this is just one example, right? So, sorry, it's my turn. I'm going to be a friend. I haven't been kind to people in a while. So I'm going, who could use, not you, you have so many, who could use a red cube? Because yeah, okay, I got you. Here you go. Friendship. And then I have 3 red and 1 yellow. So I'm going to tell everyone that nations unite in an annual paper airplaying championship, which really fits into the theme of the cards I've been playing. I had an Olympic event earlier that I reported on. And these will go in the bag. And there's no story for me to draw. But it's the last round. So I'm just going to sit here and hope that you all can finish your stories as well.
Okay, so last round I worked. This time I'm going to feed the AI. So add 1 additional black cube to the bag, pull 2, draw 1 from the discard pile. So, no, it's not my own black.
No. It's from the.
Darn, okay.
And then you're gonna, what color was the card? Because we're also gonna add,
Blue.
there we go, it's in the bag.
Okay. Pull two. Got what I wanted.
That's exciting. Is
Yeah.
the story done
Draw
or?
one from the, no, it's
just
not,
shy?
unfortunately. And draw one from the discard pile. Is that a card or?
Yes.
Ah, okay. Perfect. Yeah, do that.
Okay.
Okay. my turn.
Last turn, I believe in you.
And I'm gonna draw one card, but can I have more, can I have more choice to draw one card or? I
You,
said
you
if I
draw,
choose,
yeah,
just
we,
take it.
yeah, because unless it says draw from the discard pile, you just get off the top randomly. Of course, thank you.
I choose to feed. Ask the AI, draw 2 cards, pull 2.
I believe in you. Add those to the bag. I'll draw your 2 cards for you. +1 at the end of the turn. We are also running out of data. Oh, does that finish you a story?
That's not, but close.
Yeah, it's a big one too, 8-1.
Oh, how close? Like you're 1 off?
One red, two blue.
It's all 2, 2, 2.
Oh, it's the
within
2, 2, 2.
feet.
Yeah, it's hard to get all of it. Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
That's why they're worth 8 points though.
Also, I have 6 points against my
Just, yeah, just discard 1, yeah. There's probably a card in there that's either a repeat or unnecessary.
So, thanks to
You finished the story?
I finished the.
Let's go. Congratulations.
Thanks.
Is it all those cubes?
Yes. it
Oh,
is.
wow. It was a big story. What was the story?
A pigeon pirate, a pigeon parade shuts down main streets.
Wow, that was a big story. I remember when that happened. It was crazy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, those all go in the bag. We don't have any more stories to give you. So you already done your internship just like me. So congratulations. You can still go for your term, but you have no story to work on. So,
I got mine because
Okay.
I'm a creator.
okay.
So I give a player one of my cubes.
Oh,
So here for you because I want you to.
wow. The whole game friendship, and then at the very end, betrayal. Okay. That's a fair play. That's a good play. Okay, sorry. Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
Jen, last turn of the game.
Back here.
I mean, you can always just get rid of the black cube if you're
So,
worried.
yeah, well, guess what I was going to do?
Yeah.
Exactly that. So I'm going to return this lovely little black cube that I don't need. Can you pass me the bag, please?
Okay. So we'll end there in terms of like, that's where the gameplay would end. Let's add up our points. So you just look at your stories that you've accrued, that you've finished, not the ones that you're still working on, and add up the total points of all of them together. Ooh, that was a game winner. I think I might have you. 9, I got 5, 8, 10, 12.
Oh, wow.
But I lose 2, so I'm at 10
Oh, okay. In that case, I'm at 2 points.
because of the, yeah.
Okay, at 5 minus 1.
Oh, okay. 4.
2 points too.
Okay, so I mean, congratulations to everyone. I'm not gonna congratulate myself because that's weird. Thank you for playing. And so we talked a bit about the gamelet was going, but perhaps now we can have a little bit more of a conversation of like, this is meant to talk about AI ethics. And so, I mean, as the designer, I can explain kind of the choices, and I've started doing that a little bit. But as players, I would love to hear first, what is your familiarity with AI ethics? Like, how are you thinking about ethical AI use in your doing? And does this game align with what you're thinking about, or are there differences? So I don't know if you go with any thoughts.
We have to talk about our experience with AI.
Yeah, I think we start with like what you're familiar with when it comes to AI ethics. Like when I say those terms, like what are you thinking about? What does that mean? Because like, when I say AI ethics, like what kind of dimension are you most interested in or worried about? I'm an educator, right? So I work in the media literacy space. I work with undergrads a lot. So I'm most commonly engaging with conversations of how to be right with like AI. But other people are much more worried about other dimensions. Like I have friends who are artists who are much more concerned about like the copyright sides or the sustainability sides of like the data. So I'm just curious kind of where we're coming to this from.
I'm very interested in this question. So it's why like maybe 2-3 days ago I took a workshop, you know, here and about ethics. Like she was saying that, you know, we are really in a gray zone at the moment because we don't have clear rules. So she said, be careful. And what is important is to cite what we use from AI, and also, to keep trace of the prompts and the conversation we have.
Yeah.
When we use it in the paper or in a thesis, for example, what was the question? What did I choose to keep or not to keep? So for me, it was a good, good input.
Yeah. So you're kind of sitting in that space. What about you? How do you come to AI ethics?
So there are like certain limits to using the AI, I would say, like not to extend the certain, there are like you were saying, the citing, let's say we ask ChatGPT to write something, so it would be considered plagiarism, like we're taking someone else's work for our.
Not even citing, just asking something, like asking fun. We are not allowed to ask for help. Like at a very simple level, even to a friend, if a friend gives us, she was explaining that thing we don't really expect. We don't think we are not ethical, but from our point of view, it can be considered like ethical. Just asking AI for something and be honest about it. It was quite, you understand?
Yeah.
The difference? Yeah.
Yeah, but there's both sides there. Like you're also referencing like the citation side of it as well. Like there's also institutions that have talked about like our students can't even like brainstorm with AI, and others are like, if you work with AI, you just have to cite it. And policies are
Not in place.
No.
there's rough guidelines that Concordia has put out, if we're talking about like Concordia specifically, but like everyone's is a bit different, right? And so those are two actual spaces where people differ and like where they even think. So it's just interesting to kind of hear those perspectives. Did you want to add anything else? Sorry. Yeah, no, of course.
My biggest problem currently with AI is the amount of disinformation that we're finding. Like it is mind-boggling how much disinformation we're finding, and that's just on YouTube. I'll give you an example. My partner runs, it's really simple, a guinea pig channel, guinea pig facts, and he does a lot of research, and he's been going on YouTube trying to find inspiration and all that, and he's realizing in the last like 4 or 5 months what he's been finding on YouTube concerning just guinea pigs, right? About 60% was AI generated, and of that, a good load of the information, the content was false, was the AI hallucinating. And because he works with AI, so for a few years now, he can see the disinformation. Now, if he's finding that just in what we call the information for guinea pigs, imagine where else that is falling. So it's a big concern, the amount of information that is just false, and people are believing this. So that's a big concern.
For sure. I feel like you were going to add something or.
Oh, well, I'm going to just introduce myself.
Yeah.
I'm a French artist student. I came just for this semester into Concordia
Very
to
cool.
study new technologies. And I already use AI in my art work. And like for me, it was a tool, but I saw here, I studied theory. And so I discovered how I can use AI to help me in my research and how we can this help me. Like, so, yeah, it kind of changed my view on art. Like for me, it was like, it's not more, it can be a subject to work on, but for me, it's really a tool to help me to work faster and like have a better use of my time when I work to have information. But yeah, we have to be very like, and in half an hour we have to leave to go to an ML course. So I'm kind of studying how to use machine learning to like be more efficient in my art. So
That's really interesting. I mean, I'm curious because this game doesn't really talk about the art side, like the concerns that a lot of people have when it comes to AI ethics and art. And so for you, like the ethics that we kind of touched on briefly in terms of like disclosing use, being transparent, do those relate into kind of the concerns that you're seeing in the spaces you're in, or are you kind of reflecting on it in a different way?
well, because when we use, well, for me, AI is like a way to arrange information and data and create new data with what is it add. So when we use it in an artistical way, well, art is a way, a media, a form to give information to people. So if we work with AI that use wrong data, we can share false information. I don't know, for example, racist things, so I don't know, sexist things also. So
There are biases.
yeah, biases, absolutely, yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so biases is one of the things we also try to talk about in the game in terms of like a conversation post. Like if you're using this game to like educate, that's one of the design goals that I'm having of like, you can bias this back. Like you can try to dictate as a team if you really wanted to, that we only ever feed it the green cards, or we only ever feed it the yellow cards, and fill this with the data that we're putting in, where we can see that like how we're inputting into the system dictates what we get out. And that's why like there's a lot of concerns about bias and profiling and that come alongside, not just AI, but algorithms in general and how they see data.
The question about the red cubes, because from the stories, the red cubes represent the images, right?
Yeah,
Now, wouldn't the red cubes, when we pull from the bag, represent generative AI? Question.
sorry, I don't know if I fully understand what the
Okay,
question is.
so your red cubes, right?
Yes, they're representing images in the story. Yeah,
Exactly. So.
but everything in here is representing prompts from a generative AI. Yes.
Got it. So the red cubes would represent the generative, well, there's generative AI, but there's also text to images.
Yeah.
And that's what I was.
You can view like the
Okay.
cubes in the game are just generally information. Like if I'm explaining this to students, like this is information, right? You're producing it for your own story, whether it's images for your story or
Right.
it's a headline for your story. But then that information gets repurposed or reused for other players and how they also access it. Yeah, did you want to add anything? Sorry.
On the spot.
Well, no, I feel like we've all been talking and I
Sure,
kind
sure,
of just
yeah.
rushed over you.
Yeah, I mean, I'm most concerned in my own research too. Of course, the disinformation and the hallucinations that you know, are rampant on generative AI, but I'm also interested in what it does to us cognitively and how it changes our thinking process when it becomes an integral part of how we work. I've noticed a change in myself too, pre-ChatGPT and post-ChatGPT, how I brainstorm. When I have writer's block, how I work through it. Is it really becoming a crutch that, you know, in 10, 20 years time, that I can't live without, that I can't think without? Or is it, you know, helping me get my work done?
Yeah.
Does anybody feel as though they can't do math because they always have a calculator in their pocket? And I'm asking this question because when I was a kid, teachers were protesting against calculators.
In the 70s.
And in
Absolutely.
the 70s,
Yeah.
they were very angry with the fact that we were using calculators.
Yep.
And their excuse was that we could no longer do mental calculations. And, you know, in the future, when you work, you won't have a calculator in your pocket.
Yeah, I've heard that discussion go around, and I think in some ways it's comparable, but in other ways it very much isn't. And when I just think about how many times I reach for a calculator in my day, it's not a lot. So in terms of it replacing the number of calculations that I would have to do by hand, again, it's not a lot, but ChatGPT on the other hand, like so many people are using it instead of Google now. So when you think about it on that scale, I don't think it can be compared to the calculator because we're using it for so many different things in so many different ways for our queries, for our, you know, work. So I see where you're coming from, but
I'm gonna play devil's advocate on this.
Ooh, fight.
I'm gonna play devil's advocate since you picked Kristen's my student, so I'm allowed.
There's a button to slide up on the bottom.
Does this work? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so you don't use a calculator a lot in your day because a lot of things now are being done for you. You don't have to calculate these things because it's all automatized. If you were living in the 1960s or 1970s or before that, before the calculator, you would have had to do a lot of things with mental calculation all day long. When you open your bank account, you never have to calculate now. It's all there for you. When you create spreadsheets or you do data and you're counting things, it's all there for you. When you're budgeting, you know, you can put this in the app. I have a mortgage app, which is absolutely amazing because I can calculate how many hundreds of dollars more it's going to cost me when I renew my mortgage. But we used to have little books that people would buy to calculate those, and there was a lot of hand calculations. So I'm just wondering, if we can anticipate that in the future, a lot of the things that we were doing that were hardcore work will actually be automatized, and that delivers us from having to do other things. And I'll give you an example on this. I'm currently working with a group who's working on an AI journaling product. And what this is going to be is, you know, when professors ask you to fill in your journals, you have to do them because it's part of the reflection and it's part of the things that you need to do. So you do them on the first week and, you know, you get a feedback, but students soon realize that we can't keep up with that. So what the reaction is how about we let an AI actually mark for the students? Well, that's wrong and nobody will accept that. But how about we create an AI product that actually feeds me as a professor information about how my students are working. So this way I have to do less busy work and I use the AI to actually reflect on it. I'm just putting this as an additional card because I'm wondering to what extent in 2024, there's a lot of manual work we're working on and or we're doing that doesn't necessarily need to be done by us. And I'd just like to hear you about that a little bit more, Kristen.
On the
Sure.
hot seat.
Yeah. No, that's very true. It's so ingrained in our lives that I don't even notice it. You know, I haven't used like a physical calculator since high school, but it's, you know, my computer certainly has it in all the programs that I use and applications. I guess I'm just scared what happens when, you know, what I just learned to do in my degrees, write and think, are, you know, obsolete or taken over. Maybe that's coming from anxiety of maybe job displacement too, push back from there. But I have also, there's this other thing that I've noticed of how I brainstorm and think. Before I had ChatGPT, I, you know, would, if I was having writer's block or something like that, I'd go for a walk and just like think about it, or like it would be a harder process, but I would be more attached to the idea that I came up with because it came from me. It felt like it came from me. Now, just like 5 seconds, go into ChatGPT and I have some things that I can then start, you know, workshopping and so on. And but they don't feel like they come from me anymore. I'm, you know, I don't feel ownership over those ideas that it's given me. And in terms of AI ethics, it's often like talked about, oh, I don't, you know, hand in papers with, you know, from ChatGPT, but I use it as a brainstorming tool. So I think that's a major, you know, use, and going forward, maybe one of the ethical uses that, yeah.
I don't know if I can jump in here too. Like, I think like you brought up that point of like labor displacement, which I think is something that like this game doesn't really get into. Like, yes, we're all vying for a job, and whoever is most effective at, you know, using or engaging with the AI can maybe get there. But there's a larger conversation when we talk about AI ethics about like how this is going to reshape like workforces. I mean, we see like a lot of tech companies inputting AI just into their processes and making that kind of just a staple dimension. And we also see it from a writing standpoint. Like if you use Grammarly, like you'll just see like AI suggestions as you're writing, and you can just hit tab and it like fills in the sentence for you, right? And it's like, that's cool and great, and there's a lot of benefits to like being able to produce things faster, but what's the downside in terms of like these industries shifting in terms of labor that's being done to get these things done? And we talked in the game of like, sometimes just working is actually going to get you there faster than AI because you don't have to go through and fix it all. But sometimes like for like the little filler sentences, or for, you know, just like minor grammatical thing, like those are pieces where like AI can be really just like beneficial and helpful. And it's like, how do we balance that direction moving forward? And so this game isn't meant to be like AI is bad or AI is good, but talk about like what does actually working with it look like? And it's not, you know, giving you a clear picture, but it's that choice between like every time you work with AI, you're not only contributing to its growth and development by providing data to it. Because like if you've ever like looked at ChatGPT's tiers for purchasing, it's only the maximum tier where you actually retain ownership over what's coming back to you and what you produce with AI. Everything else they keep. And so there's questions there that come with also like who's able to retain data ownership while using AI in this process and who isn't. Because I know I'm not going to pay for that premium tier because that's expensive, right? And so then I'm always hesitant of like putting my own dissertation work around AI stuff, because I'm like, do I really want that data to be feeding into the machine itself? And these are questions that I'm not here to answer. Like the idea today was to like play around with these conversations about ethics, use the game as kind of a conversation tool. And again, on the 16th, when we have another event like this, we're going to have some people who are talking about this or working in this space come and do some talks before playing the game with us. But this is kind of just meant to get the ball rolling on like, what does a conversation look like for you and me and what we're all doing in these spaces? And where are fears and insecurities, but also excitements?
But I think it's very good these conversations are taking places because it makes us more aware before to use it. You know, at first it's so exciting, oh my God, oh my God. And then you become, oh, sorry. Yeah, I think these conversations are very important to have because it makes us more aware when we use it, you know, like, you know, what I want to keep, like for the thesis, for example, you know, because it's giving a lot of ideas and content. And, but so for me, it was very interesting to take several trainings about AI ethics, because sometimes I didn't think about this aspect. But what I like about it is the way I use it to open my vision, and then to select pieces, like maybe pieces I would haven't thought about it. So this is a good way, but I'm very happy that we have this game about it, this conversation about it, just to be careful.
Either you want to add anything to the conversation here?
I want to go back into the calculator discussion. I think that we can like do similarities with it. In fact, that maybe, and I am also scared of that, is that I think that if I use AI too much to work, I will lose this possibility, this power of synthesized by myself, like to take information, to rich informations and to put them together. And it's so much easier. And I'm like kind of, lazy by using it. But I think, well, maybe there is a lot of different abilities that we can lose by this way. So I think it's important to remember how to know our tools and how to don't let tools forget things. Like I'm kind of sad of not being able to do my own math without a calculator. So this is what I thought.
But I'd like to add something. So I work in a public library. Okay, La Bibliothèque de Saint-Henri. And back in the 90s, when the internet started, there was a lot of fear factor in the 90s stating that, oh, with the internet coming, everybody has access to this quick information and everybody's going to become lazy and not go to the library or even read books. So it comes a bit from like that same standpoint. However, 30 years later, I work in a library. People still go out and read books. And the #1 company in the world is a company that actually started by selling books online, Amazon. So that fear factor that we think may not be real, but it might be a fear that we're generating, because libraries are still there. They're still booming. We've modernized even in the era of the internet. So just a comparison there.
I think for me, like one of the concerns there, and like if we talk about like Amazon as the example for library books or stuff like that, is like also there's just a loss of interaction though. Like yes, I can interact now with an AI to like produce something written or something textual, but like prior to engaging with AI, if I had questions, I would wrestle with a book and then go find a colleague or an expert in that book and like talk to them about like those theories and those ideas to really wrestle with it. And now I arguably don't have to, because I can just wrestle with whatever theory through the AI interpretations of it. And I feel like there's something lost in like that humanism of that exchange that like is important to keep in mind as we.
True, but you've actually displaced that kind of conversation with us. So you kind of you're still conversing, but about something else with other people.
Yeah, and so like we're talking about this here, but like, let's say like I want to like break down you know, theories around disinformation studies, because that's what I study. And I go on AI and I ask ChatGPT to like help break down this idea of inoculation theory, which is the about how people are primed and then fall for information. That's a different conversation that I'm going to have than if I sit down with a fellow scholar or a scholar in disinformation studies and I'm like, okay, can you tell me about this inoculation day, how we're thinking about it? Because that the wrestles with it, the critiques of it, like AI is it tries its best not to choose a side. Like it tries its best to, yeah, be unbiased, right? Which means that you're going to get a different exchange in that. And I think a lot of our knowledge comes through these like very personal interactions. And that's not to say that there isn't like benefits that can come from AI, but it's important to keep in mind that like the more we rely on this tech to feed these pieces, that we do lose points of human interaction that can drive knowledge that is important to remember. And so it's how we balance our exchanges with AI to kind of get background knowledge, but then use that to build and grow from there. And those are questions that I still have watching it just only emerge forward, you know. But
So
there's no answer here.
If I can jump in, the aspect of disruption, and Kristen mentioned it. You also, I forgot your name, sorry. Anais mentioned it, and you can speak French also when you interact. So this idea of how we're going to get disrupted in the future is only for us to face it and to reflect on it, because no matter what we do, no matter what field you're in the fourth industrial revolution or in the industry 4.0, you will be disrupted, and it will come in waves, not just one time, many times. So the fear of displacement and the fear of losing what you already control and what you have gained is real, but we're also building from the thesis of the previous gains. So whatever you have, you're working with it. My concern when I adopt new technologies, and obviously I'm dating myself here because I started school in the 1970s.
I mean, you did bring up the calculator earlier.
I did bring up the calculator. I do have white hair as well. So in some of the theses that you come out that come out in education, I would be a digital immigrant, whatever that means. And that thesis has been invalidated because it absolutely doesn't mean anything. You can't characterize people like this. But the new generation of people in high schools and in elementary schools are going to be the children of AI. For them, this is part of their life. And my concern when I work or when I prepare people to work is that those who don't adopt some kind of way to work with AI and reflect on how they can become more efficient, more relevant, have a better flow, and so on and so forth, will be outdated by those people who have adopted it, right? So for example, the writer's block, that white page. I mean, I remember the day when I went from writing my draft and then transcribing it onto a typewriter because my profs at university were insisting on having a typed assignment, which was really hard for me, to the day when I said, okay, today I'm going to try to write my assignment on the computer. And that was an intellectual almost Olympics for me because I was so used to jotting down notes and to writing in a linear way. But once I realized that I could go back and forth and I didn't have to finish paragraphs to move to the next one, I was like, wow, this is a discovery. And then people who were 4 years younger than me were like, yeah. Right. So this is just basically a reflection I have on this, but really, am I a worse writer now that I use a computer to write? I'm going to tell you also that I'm a better writer. I became a better student because I'm left-handed. And to write, I had to go like that. And once I started writing on my computer, the flow of writing was much faster. So I adapted my writing a lot to that new technology. And once I welcomed it, it completely changed the flow of my writing. But is it nice to write poetry with a piece of paper? Absolutely. Can I write really well now today? I don't think anybody can read my handwriting now. So that's definitely the losses we're having. And I think we need to reflect on those things. So it's really important to have the good, the bad, and the ugly.
Yeah, there's like a balancing line there, and we're
Yeah.
all trying to navigate it.
Yeah. And what I think your game does really well, like with this approach of showing the black box and you literally have a black bag, that's where I think, you know, and yes, there will be transitions and things lost, and this has happened before and it will keep happening. But what I'm stuck on is like the content that we're losing, not just sort of the process that we're writing, but like we saw in the gameplay, we had a choice to, you know, put things into the black box and take it out, use the AI, feed the AI. But if we keep doing that, and depending on how this is, made, how the algorithm is created, what will come out will be different. And it's usually generic and not that great too, what comes out. So I don't know. You were talking about how, writing on the computer helped your writing, and I see, using ChatGPT, it can help me do more, produce more, and, be more efficient and productive and everything like that. But it's very, for me, what is it? Quantity over quality. But hopefully that will change.
It's because for me, I mean, I join you because I think we passed by, I studied in the 70s. I'm dyeing my gray hair. They are underneath. It's underneath. Yeah. But it's a tool, really it's a tool. So it's not because I use ChatGPT that I won't meet people. Like really my methodology is mostly about meeting people, doing interviews with people, and then using ChatGPT to, as I said before, like open little windows that maybe I didn't have the idea to open. And then from this window, I read so many books, so it's another tool adding, it's not relying only on ChatGPT. It's just like Grammarly, like, this kind of stuff for me. And of course we have to be careful, like what we give back and select among the information we receive. But I think it's gonna be a great tool. And I join you on the book aspect, like we were scared to lose, the paper, but I much prefer, to read paper books than I never take Kindle books, because I'm on the screen all day long. So for me, like keeping the paper is good.
There have been more books sold after the internet than before the internet.
Mhm.
So that was an interesting, we all thought that books and libraries would die out, but they didn't.
Mhm.
And that's an important aspect, because
Yeah.
for years they kept saying the internet is going to kill libraries and bookstores, but it actually didn't.
Yeah.
So you don't know. We'll see in a couple of years.
Well, I mean, we can keep the conversation going. The point of this is to be like a networking event too, where like we're allowed to like flow and move through the space. And you also didn't come here knowing that you were going to be on camera, and so I do apologize for that. Where like perhaps we kind of move the conversation to the space itself, and there's other versions of the game set up that we can run.
There are two people over there.
Yeah. Yeah, and so perhaps we kind of move the dialogue from this on camera to more of the space itself and play some games and all those things. So thank you for being here. Have a brownie. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
We are going to give
Okay, thank you to everyone who joined us in this space and online. As Scott said, we will be continuing this in this space, so please feel free to stick around. You're here until 3. For those of you who are joining us online, we will be going ahead and closing up the live stream in the Zoom, but we hopefully will see you here again on February 16th for the next installment.